Friday Fun Day here at Fulshear. I sang that.
So that was a beautiful song.
That was a good. Hi, I'm Nikki Garza with my sidekick, Kevin.
No, we're glad to be here, and it is Friday Fun Day, and like we promised last week, we have a tool for caregivers.
Yes.
So we want to take a minute and talk about the caregiver role for just a minute, and then we'll give you the tool.
Deal.
Okay.
So remember last week we talked about different interactions. We had the attachment interaction and affiliation interaction. Well, as a caregiver, you're responsible for helping the other person self-soothe. So caregivers are either parents to children or peer-to-peer. But our children are never going to be our caregiver. And of course there's exceptions to that developmentally as we get older and as our children age and come into adulthood. But what we're talking about is as a caregiver, a parent to a child.
Right, so you're going to have a caregiver and you're going to have a seeker in an attachment interaction. So here's a tool for you caregivers, for you parents. So the tool we have today is intent. And what we're looking at for this is helping somebody who's a caregiver see the best intention and deepest need of somebody who's seeking assistance from them. And this is really important because the main goal of this is it decreases our stress. So we're going to go through, we'll just identify this, what intent stands for, and then we'll give you an example of that.
But I think it's also important to remember that the skill intent is not only about cognitively knowing it, but it's about using it in a relationship. So you're going to use this skill with one of your peers, either your spouse, your significant other, a close connection. You're going to use this skill to help decrease your stress by using it with someone else.
Okay, so intent. So each one of these letters stands for something. So we're going to identify behaviors of others that cause hurt and pain. N, we're going to name our own perspective. Why are we thinking or feeling the way we are about the behaviors of the other person? T is train, and that's to train ourselves to respect the experience of other people. E, envision a story of why they are acting this way. Build on themes of safety, fear, and protection. Again, the idea is to get their best intention or deepest need. Nobody does bad things for bad reasons. If you look at your own life, you usually do things that cause pain in other people, usually trying to do something good. It just doesn't go very well. So we're trying to find that in other people. N, no excuses. The story that you create does not justify the bad behavior of another person. And I don't know how many times I could emphasize that. This is not about justifying somebody else's bad behavior.
This is about creating empathy. This is about, for us as caregivers, being able to get into a place of responsiveness in the people that are seeking our support.
Yes. T, think about future interactions through this lens and share with a close connection. So we want to think about when we get this story, we're going to be able to see that person from this lens multiple times. So it's a really hard thing to do, but once you get it, it will help decrease your suffering immensely.
So the biggest goals are to remember that the skill of intent is to help decrease us as caregivers, our emotional distress, and to use it with others. And it helps us stay in that caregiver role and helps us be the best caregiver. Now, Kevin, give us a good example.
Okay, so here's an example of if a parent is the caregiver and let's say their daughter comes to them and they've just self-injured. So this can cause a lot of distress for a parent when this happens. So the idea is, again, to decrease our own distress. Find the best intention and deepest need. So I'm going to identify the behaviors of others that cause hurt and pain. When my daughter comes to me and she has scars on her arms, that creates stress and fear in me. I'm going to name my perspective. So my perspective is that this is something that shouldn't happen. People shouldn't cut themselves. And so I'm going to name and understand why that's the case for me. What's the emotion that comes up for me? It terrifies me that something like this is happening or that my daughter is suffering in this way. T, I'm going to train myself to respect the experience of other people. So I need to understand from this spot why this makes sense to her. The experience that she's having is one of pain and hurt and fear, and I need to respect the fact that something is going on for her. So then E, I'm going to envision the story of why they're acting this way. What is going on for her? So what we know about self-injury is that it's a way to communicate hurt and pain, or it's a way to release hurt and pain. So if I can begin to tell myself this new story, there's something deeper going on besides the behavior that I see. I'm moving away from my own fear and my own emotion around this, and I'm looking at why this is happening. So she may be doing this because it eliminates some of her own distress, or she may be doing this in order to help me to see that she's struggling in some way. Now, this story doesn't have to be true. This story just has to be something we tell ourselves. and it is going to build on themes of safety, fear, protection, something that is a positive spin to what's going on, then I'm not going to make any excuses. It's still not okay for her to cut herself. That is not a healthy behavior. So there is no excuse. There's no justifying that this is happening. We want that behavior to stop. And then we have to think about future interactions through this lens. So every time she comes to me with this self-injury, I can immediately move myself to a place of there's something more going on for her. Her best intention, her deepest need is that she needs connection, she needs safety, she needs security. She's trying to communicate hurt or pain with me.
Wonderful. Well, we hope as you use this tool that will help you be a more regulated and amazing caregiver. Keep working hard. We love you here at Fulshear.